Welcome to the Power Lunch Podcast, your midday dose of boldness, brilliance, and a little bit of badassery. I'm Amy Sousa, here with my powerhouse co-hosts, Tracie Munce and Lisa Carmichael, and we're coming in hot to shake things up. Each week, we dish out bite-sized, high-impact conversations on business, health, purpose, wealth, and the wild, beautiful chaos in between. Whether you're building your dream, rebooting your story, or just catching your breath, this is your space to get grounded, inspired, and reignited. This isn't just another podcast, it's your power move. Let's go.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we have Vaughn Pierro with us. She is a somatic and embodiment guide, a breathwork master, and a retreat leader who spent the last decade helping women release what's holding them back and reconnect with their truest selves. Through her healing circles, her one-on-one work, and her holy human retreats, she helps women move stuck energy and old stories out of the body, not by becoming someone new, but by remembering who they've been all along. She also is the host of one of my favorite podcasts, Cosmic Healing. Today, she's going to demystify this work and show us how any woman can start right where she is. Vaughn, welcome to the Power Lunch. I am like beaming like ear to ear because you are one of my favorite humans, but more, you are such a soul sister. We have known each other for years and years and years, and I'm not talking about these years, like lifetimes. And that, that's one thing that drew me to you right away, is that you have a spirit about you that is all about love. And you've always been about love. Yet it's been a journey for you. And I have watched the woman that I met 6 years ago, who I did my first breath work with ever. And they call it work for a reason. It's not like what we're doing right now. I mean, God gives us this breath, but when we go into breath work, it is really going into a different dimension. And I remember the first time, I think it was the fire breath. And it's a tough one. And I don't share this often, but when I was in that, I found my little girl sitting at a bus stop, like waiting for me. And so much of my healing started in that moment of reconnecting with my little girl and picking her back up from this bus stop that she had been waiting at. And then the next year going through even more, like your work has been so instrumental in my life. I just I have, my brain is like going through all the things that you've helped me through. But your journey in how to become love has probably been the one that I've loved the most. And I didn't even know that I wanted to talk about that, but I really want women to understand that journey a little bit and how you went through it through using your breath work and, different modalities. So could you share a little bit about that? Let's dive right in.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for having me on. I'm so excited to be here. And Tracie, lifetimes. Yeah, you're so, sometimes I feel like love is just so cliche. It's like, oh, self-love or unconditional love. Yeah, but it's like until you really experience it and have it in your heart and embody it in your being, it's like it doesn't click until it clicks. And then once you feel that level of true unconditional self-love, number one, because you got to be able to experience it for yourself to be able to give and receive that from others. That's really that, looking back, I started my journey. I just had my huge spiritual awakening 10 years ago at the ripe age of 43. So here I am sitting at 53, and I'm just like, holy moly, the journey that this has been. And you're exactly right, it all comes back to love. And welcoming in more, opening, healing your heart so that you can receive more love, healing your heart so you can give more love, and just like being more love. And it just always cracks me up though, because it sounds so cheesy, but it's like literally everything, because that is what is everything. And I will say, truly, working with the heart space is the greatest work that we can do. Our heart, I believe, is our bridge, the bridge between our physical world and our spiritual world. Because our physical world is kind of rooted, like below the heart, and our nervous system and our belly space, and it's how we move forward with our legs, and then the heart is the bridge, of everything, leading us into those higher realms of spirituality. And so to be able to live your life with a more open heart, that's the thing that connects your human existence and your holy existence, your spiritual existence. But that journey of letting down the guards, opening your heart, trusting yourself, and just being so open to discover and be curious about what else is out there versus what we've been so conditioned to believe is how we should love or what love looks like, and just like throwing it all in wild abandon just to explore, because we think we know love, but until you keep going deeper and deeper into the journey of discovering your own love that exists within you, which your soul is the spark of God, and God is unconditional love. So the more that you can ignite that spark within, then that's when your whole world just, in your whole body and your cellular, your DNA, everything just begins to expand. And you're like, oh my gosh, what is my life? What am I feeling? I never knew it could feel and be this abundant.
I hear everything that you're saying. One of the ways that you facilitate that is through your breath work and through your retreats. Help me, or help the listener, tell me about a retreat with Vaughn, and how, because all of your retreats are centered, like that's the core, is finding that love within, and maybe through healing other parts of you, but it really comes to that is like pinpoint. It is about that self-love. So what's a retreat with you look like? Because you do how many every year?
I usually do around 3.
Okay. And you have a pretty big one that you're planning right now, and I want to save that for a second, but walk me through a retreat with you.
So everything that I do is focused around the breath. Like, we are working with our breath, and I have a modality called the Holy Breath Method, which is where we bring our breath and our body together as one, because when we are together at one with ourselves, we are one together with God, and we are one with everything. So really allowing ourselves to come home to ourselves first and foremost. And I believe that God breathed life into us, and so therefore our breath is holy. And so when we can use that breath with intention of really breathing in more medicine, the miracles of God, of Holy Spirit, like really letting that move through us with intention, like Tracie said, like we breathe all the time, but this is very intentional. And the way that I create the space is also very ceremonial. So we're coming together like very in sacred ceremony with ourselves and with God. And it's like this beautiful portal opens up, and we just start breathing with intention of like, like I guide everybody through this methodology, and then once the breath is moving through the body, and then we kind of move the body around a little bit, and then before you know it, we're in this beautiful place of being. And when you're kind of like in that altered state of consciousness, I describe it kind of like a meditation on steroids, where you're in an active meditation. We're not about sitting there and just like being still and breathing. Like, we're really becoming one with ourselves. We're allowing ourselves to open up to infinite possibilities of the magic and miracles that are available to us. So in retreat experiences, usually they're at least 3 nights, so that we can have that space to really, because I host a lot of classes too, but, a class, people got to leave, they got to go back home, so it's like there is an end time. Whereas in a retreat experience, we've got the space. If someone in particular needs extra time, then we get to surrender into that time. They're very flowy. They are very powerful. Each person just is able. I really, one of the biggest things that I've experienced in my 10 years of doing this is the sisterhood. Like, when one woman is healing, it's like this beautiful thread that moves through each one of us. And that's, I believe, how we will heal this world, is through sisterhood. Because when women heal, we will help heal the men. And then, it just is the ripple effect. And so I love healing together. I mean, I love doing one-on-one sessions too, but there's something very, very powerful about bringing a group of women together and us just doing the deep work together, where we're emotional, we're raw, we're vulnerable. We remember our true selves. We remember how healing works. We remember how the ancient technology of our breath works, and the somatic, intuitive, just knowing of our body, like how it all works. Like, we remember that together, and all it takes is one woman to say, to feel her emotions and to let out suppressed rage that her body's been holding on to for lifetimes, to give permission to the woman beside her to be like, oh, this is that kind of party. Okay, let's go. So it's very community. It is very, intuitive, it's spirit led, and I just create the space and then open the container, and then we play.
Beautiful. Vaughn, how old are you? You have children, mama first.
I do. Yep. I have 2 girls. They just recently turned 18 and 20.
Okay. And so what advice would you give a mother now that you have young adults, teaching the next generation about the breath and what you've learned about, I mean, everything is about the breath.
It really is.
Like you said, it's like receiving the Holy Spirit. Yeah.
It's so interesting, these young ones. I mean, when I first had my spiritual awakening 10 years ago, my kids were 8 and 10, and so I was one way, and they literally have just watched me transform my, because I did it, because healing is messy, like discovering your true self is messy. And there were lots of tears, like, as you're unbecoming everything that you've been, and you're becoming this beautiful version of yourself that exists within you, but discovering that version of yourself is like, what? It's so confusing, so for them to be able to witness me in that journey has been something I didn't realize was going to be such a gift. And my girls now, just in their own journey of witnessing me, I see how it impacts them. I see their choices. I see their decisions. My ability now at this phase, what I'm currently working through, my ability to be able to let them go and live their life has been such a gift for myself and for them, because if I had not been doing this work, I know how painful this time of my life would be, as I am about to become an empty nester. But instead, I am so excited for them. Like, I'm so excited for them. I'm so excited for me. I cannot wait to see what is next, now that I don't have to wake up every morning and make sure someone's taken care of. I'm like, oh my gosh. but it's really interesting because my girls, their friends will come over and they're always so curious. Like this is my studio in my home, and it's very sacred and beautiful. And they'll come in and they ask questions. They want to know. They want to, because it's so innate in us to want to remember the core and the essence of who we are and just live in that truth. So I really believe that the more that the mamas can show up, or the mamas, the aunts, the everybody, can show up in their true self. It is so necessary as an example because this generation of us, the four of us talking right now. I mean, we are the generation change makers for the elderly, for our moms, and for the next generation of children that are coming in. And it's a big tall order, but I think we're doing it. Like I see so many women that are just waking up, and then if we're not doing it, then I work with a lot of like 23-year-old women right now. That's just kind of like a hot age that's kind of coming in. And it just makes me so excited because they're coming in because their moms are not doing the work. And so they're coming in because they see me, they follow me on Instagram or whatever, and they see me and they're like, I want to feel like this, and I want my mom to feel like this. And so they're coming in understanding that they have to do the work, just like I'm doing the work for my mom, because I know my mom she didn't have the capacity or the understanding to do the work that I do have the capacity and understanding to do. So I just think it's amazing that these younger women are coming in and have that, not like they can see it. They're like, but I want mine, because her mom, one girl in particular, her mom is in her mid-50s, and she's like, I want to be close to my mom. I want to be able to have deep spiritual conversations with her. I want to have honest truth with her. And so it's just really beautiful how the generational healing cycle, I think, will always be, always. So even if someone's not able to do the work, there's someone that is in that family lineage that can do the work.
So good. I heard so much here. I just want to share a story. This weekend, I was with my niece who is 23 and my daughter who's 41, and being able to sit around and have conversations that aren't just superficial, that we really got to talk about, what's your big audacious dream? Like go big, go bigger, and just sit and have those conversations where it didn't feel like we had to be small. We just were able to be so outrageous, because sometimes not sometimes, all the time, when we speak things, we speak it into existence, right? One of the things I want to circle back with about you and the way that you show up, especially for the community of women, because that's primarily who you work with. Though you work with men, it's primarily women. The one thing that has been such a blessing for me, and I think for so many women, is that at our age, doing the things that we're doing, when we come to a place where we need to unburden some things, we usually come with our masculine mask on, our very I'm good at it. And you offer a space and just an aura of femininity. Like, whoa, let's let that mask isn't necessary here. And the beauty of at least the retreats that I was at your very first one, and I was at one a couple years ago. Actually, it'll be 2 years this June, which has got me thinking a lot about this last 2 years since Holy Human. It was being able to lay down that mask of masculinity and really lean into my femininity. And I remember the first retreat when you said, now you have to move your body. And I was like, I can't. Like, it's stiff, right? And now I have this, and this was, I think it was, 2021 that you had your first, your first retreat in November. And since then, the way that I can just tap into that feminine flow, it was like the beginning of something really super beautiful. So I appreciate that. How do you, what are some of the things that you do, just to transition a little? What are some of the things you do to make like that are like non-negotiables for you on a daily basis? And that if you don't do them, because we all get into that. Hey, I follow you like religiously on social. And a couple weeks ago, you were like, hey, I haven't been in my studio in a while, and I can feel it in the things that are showing up in my life. So what are some of the things that you do that have really kind of like locked in, and then you can, navigate through being a mama and a wife and, a business owner and stuff?
Yeah, again, comes back to the breath. Like if I do not take the time, and that's the beautiful thing about the breath is you don't have to be in your studio or your meditative sacred space. Like you can be in your car and really use your breath to calm yourself down, to move through emotion, through anxiety. When we feel anxiety in our body, that is just the fear of the unknown stuck in our body. And just 30 seconds, even, 3 minutes would be amazing, 30 minutes would be even better, but just making sure that I am consciously breathing, because it is too easy for days, weeks, months, and then years to pass by, and sometimes you'd be like, I don't even know when I took a deep breath, like an intentional, like we will all take a deep breath, like, oh God, like that's a lot, and then it's followed with like, but I'm talking like taking a deep breath where you are connecting to that breath of God. You are breathing in, remembering that you are holy, that you are divine, that you are provided for, that you are cared for. And the breath brings you into the present moment. And when we're in the present moment, we're not thinking about the past and we're not fearful of the future. We're right here, right now. So the more that I can bring myself into the present moment, the more I'm living in my present moment. And that can make me present with my family, with my work, with how my body's feeling, what emotions I'm really feeling that I might subconsciously be shoving down without even realizing, because that's what we've done our whole life. But once we realize that we don't want to be that version of ourselves anymore that just keeps shoving things down, the only way that we can't shove things down is to be present with what we're feeling. So that is a biggie for me, is just how am I feeling today? What is happening in the cosmos astrologically, like where do I feel tightness in my body, and just really trying to give myself at least a 5 minute, I don't put a timer, I'm not that structured at all, but I really try to just tune into my body. Another thing I'm super obsessed with is sun codes. I love getting early morning sun. There is something so good about early morning sun codes and late evening. It's when the sun is low in the sky, that when we can actually be in the sun without it, being too bright for us or too much for us or too hot for us. It is just coated with the stuff that our DNA is here for, that it is an awakening of our cells and our DNA that really helps the process of becoming more of a light-filled being, and that's really, like I said, if our soul is a spark of God, and God is, infinite and unconditional love and is the light of God. It's like if we allow more of that to radiate through our bodies, then the sun, number one, will help that, and our breath will help release whatever is in the way, like the density, the congestion, because the breath, especially when you exhale, and the exhale does not get enough attention, in my opinion. I'm a really big fan of taking up space with your exhale, like let it be loud, let it have a noise, let yourself hear and feel your exhale as it's moving through your body, because that is the letting go, like that's the release. So it's like we're breathing in we're breathing in that Holy Spirit, and then whatever does not belong, we can just let that go. And because God can hold that for us too, like can transmute it and just let it go. So that is the process of really connecting deeper to ourselves and just trusting. I mean, because I never knew anything about sun codes or the early morning sun, but just about 3 years ago, one morning, I just was like, mornings in a row, I would just go out and I would just stand there in the sun and I'd be like, why am I doing this? And it was like this intuitive thing in my body that was just saying, you need this. And now looking back, I understand like the actual light of God, you know, that my body was making space for, right? Like I was igniting my body and my light DNA on a level I couldn't even comprehend at the time. So I just think it's funny and super cute when we actually follow our intuition. And then it's like, oh, that's why we were doing that.
Love it.
That's so important because I feel like with social media and with, there's so many other people around us who are not focused on the present moment. They're, looking at the past. So do you have advice to that young woman, that female entrepreneur maybe, or any woman? And she knows how to ground herself, but is constantly being attacked from people who aren't that way.
Yeah, that's a toughie, because that has to do with everyone else's projections and their own unprocessed and healed stuff. So the more that we allow ourselves to stand in our own self-sovereignty and in our own authority, it's really that to me is the work, is to be able to, and again, if you imagine like someone that is really filled up with emotion, right? Like unprocessed emotion and stuck energy in their body, and they're holding up a lot of stuff in their body. Anytime anyone says anything or does anything, you're going to react because it's literally a poke, because you're so filled up with that unprocessed stuff. And so when anything or anyone comes at you, it's like you automatically, you're like, hey, like, ow, don't, because you're filled up with stuff, unprocessed stuff, like not necessarily the breath of God, the light of God, you're filled up with more like, but that's not naturally how we want to be feeling. Like we want to feel free. We want to not care about what anyone else thinks. But the process of getting there is your own job. Like you have got to be able to be willing to go into the depths of your own unprocessed emotion and feelings and be willing to be with them. But that's what we avoid, because that's the work, because it's hard and we don't know, and it's going to open up a can of worms, and what's going to happen then? Am I going to leave my husband? Is everybody going to hate me? No. Am I going to have to turn everything upside down? Like we don't want to do that. It's scary, right? But there's something always in every single woman, like this truth that is just saying, you don't want to feel this way, right? Like you don't want to feel easily triggered and filled up with frustration, like we were created to feel and be free. So again, it comes back to the breath, because the way that I have healed that stuck emotion is through the breath. Like the breath acts like, when we do it with intention and purpose of like moving and clearing out stuff, the breath's so intuitive, and it goes straight down into all the parts of our bodies that we don't know. We, up here doesn't, and our mind doesn't know, but our intuitive, that Holy Spirit, that miraculous breath that we are breathing in knows exactly where to go. And if we can surrender and soften into that and know that we're safe, it is safe for us to let go. It is safe for us to soften a little bit and to feel the emotion and to be held by other women. Then it's like, oh, and then we're not carrying the load so much, and then it's not as heavy, and then we're not so easily, it doesn't hurt as bad when we get poked.
Right.
Yeah. So does that kind of answer your question?
Oh yeah. I think for any listener, that's such great advice to hear, that and sometimes it's projection. The things that bother you about other people is really what we haven't
100%.
dealt with.
All judgment is self-judgment. Have you never
There you
heard
go.
that? All judgment is self-judgment. If you're judging another person, you're going like this, there are literally three fingers coming back at you. This is only an opportunity for you to check yourself. So I am
It's so
like,
deep. Like that one always gets me. I mean, it's 100,000% true, but all judgment is self-judgment. And it's like, oh, really?
yeah, all triggers are an opportunity for you to check yourself. People don't trigger you. They are opportunities for you to take a look at yourself and go, what is unhealed right now? I know I'm like probably unpopular with those two statements, but it is time that we take radical responsibility for ourselves. We get to govern this emotion. We get to govern what comes out of us. And if we're not doing it, if we're like, and I am a big one on this, man. I have worked and worked and worked on this, that I'll say that I'll use the example. I was on holiday with my family and did really well for the first few days. The last 2 days, not so well with my mouth. And my daughter finally said, Mom, you're being a little passive aggressive. And I'm like, I just can't hold it in anymore. And it was because I wasn't expressing myself throughout the week. I was like wanting to play nice rather than, like, come on, that's on me. This person wasn't doing anything. They were just living their life. Like, I can't control whether they're healed or unhealed. I can't control what they're doing in their life. What I can control is how it affects me. I just, yeah. So much. It brought me when you were talking, and I know that there's a lot of this unhealed with moms and families right now. And I was thinking about our friend Heather and how at one of the events and watching her be mothered by all of us because she didn't have that. And then watching her like start to heal that relationship because she recognized it's okay that I'm never going to get it from her, but I have it with everybody around me. And the way that you've created that space for women to just become this gooey mess and you just kind of build them back. It's so beautiful. And you do that so eloquently. I'm a huge Dr. Joe, like meditation is my jam. And I think that I shared with this, but the last time I was at Dr. Joe in December this last year, he started to work with a breath. Like he works with that. He has a pretty powerful breath that he works with that goes right to the pineal gland, which is where that sun code, those crystallizations, they start to shimmer and quake and it's like it opens up a different realm. So I'm 100% about sun codes, but he started to work with a new breath, and I thought of you immediately because he's recognizing and really like navigating into using meditation, his deep meditation, but then using the breath to go even deeper in his meditation. And this breath that he did was, I mean, like I came out of that breath and I didn't know where I was. I was like, I left my body kind of breath. It's like, that's the best. We are limited on time, and Aim, you didn't get much to say. Do you have anything you want to share, or you want to set up an appointment with Vaughn?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I expect the both of you to hold me accountable. And in a couple of weeks after we bury my dad, I need to meet with Vaughn.
Yeah, I seriously.
It's been an emotional journey.
Yeah.
I will
But
look
thank
forward
you
to
so
that.
much, Vaughn. I'm sucking it all in here. I'm the one who doesn't know how to relax
Yeah.
or how to breathe.
She's got a lot of. So Vaughn, before you leave, I want you to talk just quickly about Egypt.
Well, I went to Egypt last year in 2025, and it was life-changing. And plans to go this November of 2026, but it's not going to happen this year. It is going to happen in April of 2027 now. So,
Love it.
And
Such a great time.
It is.
I love it's spring. It's like
spring.
budding. It's
And this is
perfect.
just so funny because Vaughn, was like, but I want to go now. And I was forcing it and I know better. And finally I had to check myself and be like, okay, what does spirit want? Like, where are we really, when are we really supposed to be in this sacred land? And when can the women that are meant to be there, when will they be ready? And so I was like, okay, fine. So,
For you.
I can still be a brat sometimes, but it all comes back to the truth of what it's meant to be. So Egypt will be in 2027, but I am currently planning a trip to Tulum, Mexico. I just want a mermaid with a bunch of ladies. I want to play in the water. I want to play. I want to breathe. I want to do all the fun, sacred things that part of the world has to offer. And so, yeah, so that's actually what I'm working on now. So that'll be like in September, October.
Love it.
Beautiful.
Love it. So I just want to thank you for coming today, but I also want to thank you because your Cosmic Healing podcast is one of my favorite. And recently you were talking about there was this need to not be in the place that you were where you are. You needed to be somewhere on your birthday. Like it was like a non-negotiable. And I started to really kind of go down this rabbit hole. I was supposed to be in Croatia for my birthday and that got canceled. And I was like, I won't do anything for my birthday. Although I have this belief, and it happened a few years ago. I love my birthday. We're both Cancers. I love my birthday, but I always am like, oh, it's okay. You don't have to celebrate me. But inside, my little girl is like, celebrate me. So I decided that every year I'm going to go on a trip for my birthday. I'm not going to be, I will not be in my physical space for my birthday. Well, this isn't a big birthday for me. Like it's 58, it's 5.8 for me. So it's not like, life shattering. But I do know that I'm moving to Spain, as many of our listeners know. Like that is like I'm moving to Spain. And I started to do a lot of meditation and just around that. And your podcast actually sparked in me, what would it feel like to be in Minneapolis versus somewhere else? And I was like, a heck no, I cannot be in Minneapolis, especially with the way that astrology is working right now. My 12-year, I have an end. Is it all Cancers have this end of 12-year cycle, and we're going into a new 12-year cycle? And it was like, if you stay where you are on your birthday, you will be stuck. Like, and stuck isn't the word, but it is the word for me. And so I am like a huge advocate that on your birthday, where you celebrate that is really setting the stage for what even the next year, but for me in this, where Cancers are right now, the next 12 years. So I get to go to Spain for my birthday because of that. Like, I'm like, let's go.
Thank you, because the guest I was talking to, she was saying she was somewhere for her birthday and how the astrology was going to change everything for her year ahead, depending on where she was for her birthday. And when she told me that, then it sparked something within me. So I'm like, well, I'm going to Greece for my birthday, because there was this opportunity I'd been exploring and was like, whatever. So finally I did. And so I love that the ripple effect continues. And that's the beauty of sisterhood, right? Of like sharing your story, sharing your voice, because we just learn and grow through each other. It's beautiful.
I could talk to you for hours, seriously. I mean, like, I feel so honored to be able to share you with our audience. Anything you want to share just as we finish?
I just want to say that, we're in some really trying times right now. Like, we are being asked to let go and rise up in our consciousness. And our physical body really wants to be able to hold that higher level of consciousness within. And so we're really in a potent time of connecting on a deeper level, mind, body, spirit, soul. and just letting that, I just keep hearing the words, we are being asked to become more soul embodied, and our soul spark is like, it's sparked, like it's lit up. It is moving through us. And so the more we can let go, the more we can fill up, the more we can embody that soul essence and just exude what we started the conversation with, of love, unconditional love. So I know it's really hard right now. It is real. I mean, I'm in it. Like, that's one thing on my podcast. Like, I share all of it. It is hard. This journey that we're on is not for the weak, but it is time, for us to come back home to ourselves. And when we come back home to ourselves, we come home to God, and then we come home to the oneness truly of everything, which is unconditional love. So be brave, be strong, be loving, and let the love in, because we are so held.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Vaughn. You are such a light. Again, we could sit here forever and I could just love all over you, because you have helped me open my heart so much. And you continue to do that through your podcast, through your social media. I mean, really, your social media, you showing up on social media the way that you do and sharing other people's story and sharing your story really does, it impacts me. So keep doing what you're doing. Bigger. I need bigger though. Like, I need a book. I need like, okay. All right. I love you, sister. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you, Vaughn.
Thank you.
Let's go.
Thank you so much for joining us for today's episode. If something we shared sparked a new idea, gave you a fresh perspective, or simply made you feel seen, we'd love for you to pass it on. Share this episode with a friend, a colleague, or a fellow powerhouse woman who's walking her own journey. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. Until next time, keep showing up, keep rising, and remember, there's no ceiling you can't break through.